welcome back. Today we're going to be doing chicken broth. So I thought that we would just get started from the beginning because we need bones from 2 chickens. So we're just going to start by smoking the chickens. And I'm using a recipe that I found in my Martha Stewart cookbook. If you don't have this, I absolutely love it. Okay, so first we're going to start. And these are fresh from our garden, just 2 sprigs of rosemary per chicken. We're just going to go ahead and put those inside. And then I also have some fresh sage from our garden. And we're going to go ahead and try and put this under the skin as best we can. And this is actually pineapple sage, and it has turned out to be one of my favorites. It has the prettiest flowers and it just smells amazing. It's something that you can put in almost everything. Sometimes it takes a minute to try and get this up under the skin for the first time. And the reason why I'm putting this under the skin is because it holds the flavor in better when you're cooking it. Okay, and then I also have cut up just 1 garlic clove for each chicken, and I just did these just kind of thin. And then you can either use oranges or you can use lemons. Today I have some oranges, so that's what we're going to use. And try to move these over. And we're just going to slice these just so it's easy to fit inside. And we're going to do about 1.5 a piece. And to smoke these, you're going to want to do, to set your smoker to about 225. And it should take them anywhere between 3 to 5 hours. You just want the chicken breast to reach an internal temperature of 165. Okay, and now I just have some pink Himalayan sea salt. We're going to put some on the outside. Okay, and then I just have some fresh ground pepper, and we're just going to rub that all over the skin as well. Okay. And now we have our butter. I just scooped some and let it sit out at room temperature. And we're going to go ahead and rub this all over the skin. This will just give it a really nice golden color. This is something you definitely shouldn't be intimidated by. smoking the chicken is really not that hard. And it tastes amazing when you're done. You just get really messy during the process. Okay, and I just have some extra salt and sage, and I'm just going to go ahead and put those over the top. And then just add a little bit more butter. Okay, and now I just have some twine, and we're gonna go ahead and tie the legs up. And I find it easier if you go ahead and just tie one leg, and then it's much easier just to wrap it around the second one. Okay, we're just going to tie that up and do the next one. We're just going to go ahead and tie one leg again. All right, and now we are ready to go on the grill. So we will be back in, I guess, like 3 to 5 hours. Okay, so we're about 2 hours in on the smoker, and I'm just gonna go ahead and check the temperature. Okay, so we're sitting right about 130, 135, and we're gonna let it go for a little bit longer. Okay, we're getting closer on our chicken, and now I'm just gonna baste it with some butter that I went ahead and melted, and I added some fresh garlic clove to it as well. And this is just gonna help brown it up and give it a really pretty color. We don't want to forget the legs. Get this all over. Okay, and we're done with our garlic butter, and now we just have a little bit more time left. Okay, so our chickens are done. They finished just under 4 hours. Okay, so we are done with our chicken, and I just went ahead and got a pot and put 2 gallons of water in it. And now we're gonna go ahead and just add the bones. And I kept any of the skin scraps as well to put in. Let's get some of the juice. And then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. And that'll just help pull all the nutrients out. And I have my scrap bag. I have carrot scraps in here, celery scraps, onion and garlic scraps. And we're just going to add all of those in. And then last, I have our astragalus root. And we're just going to put a handful in there. And this is great for your immune system. I will put a couple links below about all the benefits. And we're just going to let this sit about 15 minutes, and then we're going to bring it up to a boil. Okay, so we've let this sit for about 15 minutes. We're going to go ahead and bring it up to a boil, and then we're going to let it boil for about another 15 minutes. And while that happens, we're just going to scoop up any impurities that rise to the top. Okay, so this has been boiling for about 15 minutes, and I went ahead and turned it down just to let it simmer. And we're going to let that go for about 12 to 24 hours. And the rule of thumb is the longer you go, the better it's going to be, and the more minerals and nutrition that is going to be pulled out of all your ingredients. Okay, so we're back. I did skip showing this up just because it had been a really long day. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of walk you through what I did. Okay, so just in our large water bath canner, we let the broth cook for about 16-17 hours. And then once it was done, I turned it off and just let it cool off for a little bit just so it wouldn't be so hot to handle. And then I got just a large pot, and then I used a strainer and a cheesecloth, and I just poured everything through really slowly. And once I was done and just had all the meat and vegetables and everything left in here, I grabbed a wooden spoon and just kind of tried to push through as much juice as I could. And then I took all the meat and vegetables out and just tried to squeeze all the juice out of the cheesecloth that I could. And now we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, so we ended up with 2 pretty large jars of chicken broth. I think we're about 14 or 15 cups. And once I had strained everything through and it had ended up in this pot, I had just poured it into these mason jars and I let it sit in the fridge overnight just to let the fat get to the top. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep this fat just for cooking and frying. It's going to be really good. So I'm just going to scrape it off the top. And this already smells really good. Okay, and I think this is going to be kind of helpful. This is my first time doing it, but I went ahead and just wrote down everything that I had put on the chicken to smoke it with because it'll affect the flavor. And I also wrote down what was in my little cuttings bag that I've been, or my little scraps bag that I've been keeping in the freezer. Just so I know if we really like something one way, I'll be able to replicate that. Okay, now we're just going to set this in the fridge. And we're going to go ahead and start loading our jars. Okay, we have everything loaded up. we have about 2 to 3 inches of water and also some vinegar to keep the jars from getting cloudy. We're going to bring this up to temperature and let it process for about 25 minutes. Okay, so the steam has been going for about 10 minutes, and now we're going to put our pressure gauge on. Okay, so we have brought it up to 10 pounds of pressure, and now it's time to wait 25 minutes and we'll be done. Okay, so we are done. We ended up with 1 quart and then 5 pint jars. And I also had another pint that wasn't exactly full enough for me to can. Okay, well that's all for today. Thanks.